Hey everyone, Mr. Steckler here. Quick video for the vocab list of lesson 1.1 to help you understand what all of these vocab words mean. This will be helpful if you're absent or you just want to watch it one more time. So let's get started. We'll start from the top. Why are we using Microsoft OneNote? Well, Microsoft OneNote is a wonderful digital free software, as long as you have a Microsoft account, that allows you to take digital notes. This program is usually used and is especially useful since all of your notes are kept in one place. So every subject is on a digital notebook. It will never run out of space, and it allows us to annotate our notes. What that means is our notes can be copied and pasted really fast to make another copy of that. If we were to switch over to Microsoft OneNote, we could take notes and we can copy and paste those notes into another tab of the notebook, which allows us to continue to work on it. So let's say you're in math class, you have today's notes, you copy and paste today's notes into a new section, and you can just continue off from there. So the copying and paste feature is very helpful and is very handy in the OneNote notebook. You're also able to search for specific words within your notebook. So if you were to type something or you write something, you can actually go into OneNote and there's a feature that allows you to search for certain words. So if you were to type in, for example, the word code, it would look for everywhere the word code popped up in your notes. So it's really powerful in that you can kind of search for a textbook. Like if you've ever had to go to the back of a textbook to look up a vocab word because you didn't know where it was, type in the word and it will find you that word to the best of its ability. You know, sometimes messy handwriting you can't figure out, but it's really, really nice as a feature to search for your notes. Next up is that the reason we're using Microsoft OneNote is we can insert photos, audios, and videos inside of our notes. Photos can include documents or they can include actual photos. So let's say you're in class and you want to take a picture of the board. You snap a photo of the board and you go to insert and you can insert a file such as a photo. You can insert a screen clipping, a picture, or you can record or insert a video. There's a lot of really nice tools that you can use to put inside of your notes to make sure that you get as much information as you can. Let's say you found a nice YouTube video, put that YouTube video within your notes. You could then just in your notes go back to that YouTube video to rewatch it. So it's a digital space to keep all of your notes, which is super helpful. Next up is PDF printout. PDF printout is a tool that allows you to insert a copy of a document, such as this document, which is lesson 0.1. PDF printout on the computer is called a file printout. On the iPad, it's called a PDF printout. They both do the same thing. It adds a printout of the file to this page. So you cannot actually change what's typed here because it's a PDF, but what you can do is you can draw on top of it. So if you were to take the drawing tool and you were to try and draw on it, you can then draw on top of that document. So that is the purpose of a PDF printout. It helps you organize your digital notes. Next up is the table property tab in OneNote. So in order to interact with the table, such as the table that we see at the top here, you are going to have to go to insert and then insert table. And once you've inserted your table, you are going to be seeing a new tab inside of OneNote. So I'm going to quickly make a new tab over here. I'm going to create a new table, a 1x1, and you'll notice that inside this 1x1 table, when I click it, a new tab is going to appear. Let me just go back to the type feature. So inside this table, as soon as I go inside this table, this new tool called Layout, which says Table Tools, is going to appear, and this Layout tab has all this information about your table. So if you wanted to insert a row below, you can do so. Insert it right, shade that cell to shade it a let's say a light red color, the light red for instructions, this light purple for a answer. You can do so. So if you click outside of the table properties, you'll notice that layout table properties tab is not here, but when you click physically inside, that table tools does appear. You can also find this by right clicking, and you'll get to the table properties by right clicking inside that table. So that's table properties tab, and that's the reason we'll be using the table properties. Next up is say, do, mean summary with colors. So you'll notice at the top of this document, we have our say, do, mean reflection. So say is in green, do is in orange, and mean is in blue. The say, do, mean summary is to tell us what my notes say, what your notes can help you to do. They'll remind me to learn algebra, remind me how to use code. And mean is going to be in blue. Your notes can help you too. It is what you physically have learned from your notes. Just as I say down below here, I have in green what I have my notes saying. In blue is what I learned from my notes. Something my notes actually didn't say, but what I learned from them. So that's what the say do mean is, and we're going to use those three colors, green, orange, and blue, in order to say that. The reason these are all light colors is if you were to use a dark color, such as a dark highlighter, so if I were to choose a highlighter and make this like a black colored highlighter, that would not actually show you what was being said. So if you were to try and highlight over something with a darker color, it would just black out the text and you would not actually be able to see that. So we're not going to be using a dark color because if you black it out, that's not really highlighting that information. You want to use a light color so you can physically see it. So that's a little bit about the say do mean and why we've chosen those colors. So we now have a total of 5 colors: the light purple, the light red, the green, the orange, and the blue for what we can do with our colors. And the reason we're using this technique is simply because it helps us memorize information. It's going to let us memorize it in a better way, and the colors make it fun and help you immediately see what the information is trying to say. So next up is one of my favorite features called the Lasso Select tool, which allows us to annotate our OneNote notebook. It allows us to copy, cut, delete, resize, and move our notes. So the Lasso Select tool is under the Draw tab, and when you click the Lasso Select, let's say this little part of my notes that I drew, I wanted to move it. I can select around this, and as soon as it's been selected, I let go, and then I can drag this around. I can move it as I want around the notes in case I put it in the wrong spot. I can also resize it to make it smaller if I originally made it too big. I can highlight it again. I can then make it bigger. I can make it even larger. You can do lots of things with it in terms of changing its size and moving it. You can also right click to then copy that, and then you can paste that again into your notes. So let's say you were doing like a math problem and you wanted that math problem in a different spot. You can just use the Lasso Select tool to, recreate that problem over and over so you can keep practicing it, which also saves a lot of time in the long run. So it's a really nice feature, and it's one of my favorite parts of digital note taking. You can also delete that note. You can also move it, select it, cut, copy, paste it. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can even rotate it if you don't like the original way in which it was. So Lasso Select tool, very versatile tool that allows you to interact with your digital notes, and it's part of the reason digital notes is even worth doing. Being able to select it, move it, drag, drop it, copy it, super powerful. Next up is the eraser. There's 2 types of eraser tools, the stroke eraser versus the normal eraser. The stroke eraser would look like this. So if you were to go to the eraser tool and I were to highlight a bunch of stuff, you'll notice that I have not picked up my quote-unquote pen, in this case the mouse, or if you're using your stylus, I haven't picked it up. I'm holding down the mouse click button, so everything that I'm drawing over here is all in one click. So if I were to let go and then select the eraser tool, that was the stroke eraser, I only have to click one little part and the whole keystroke goes away. Whereas if I were to use the regular eraser, every single thing like a regular pencil would get erased little by little of what I'm selecting. So a nice quick tool to undo and erase large strokes is the stroke eraser, or if you want to be a little bit more detailed on what you're trying to erase, you can simply use the regular eraser tool, and as you see, I'm getting rid of it. So stroke eraser versus regular eraser. And then last 2, we have the pen tool, which allows you to draw on the screen. The pen tool is just these guys over here, and you just can draw as you need. That's pretty straightforward. You use the colors that you need that link to what you're saying. And then lastly, the highlighter tool. And as I mentioned, the darker the color, the more it blocks the font. We don't want to block the font. We want to have it nice and readable, so we've chosen light colors to highlight with. And you'll notice that we can't actually shade the cells over here in Microsoft OneNote when we're on the iPad. So the best way we can do it to show our say do mean summary is we choose the highlighter tool, and we're going to highlight those colors to kind of like shade the cells the way that we could have, but obviously not as organized. So the way in which we actually have to shade these cells is in the online software. So we kind of use Microsoft OneNote both on the iPad and on the computer version for different things, but they both help us annotate our notes, and they sync to both places. So this notebook is everywhere, which is super handy, because if you ever need your notes, it's not like you can leave it at home. You just go onto your phone, your tablet, your device, and you can access this from anywhere. And you can even see it offline if you have already downloaded and uploaded, like if you had the Microsoft OneNote app. You might not have cell service, but you can still access that notebook even without service. So that's a little bit about the vocab in the Microsoft OneNote and how we're going to be using it. So if you have then any other questions about proof of understanding, this is your memory. You're going to be writing your memories of using these. If you were not here, you were absent, you'll tell me about learning this as I explained it back to me. So even if you don't have a memory because you weren't in class, you'll still explain to me how it is used. So instead of explaining your long-term memory, you'll explain the memory of this video of how it was used. You'll notice I copied and pasted all of this. I can't give you the answer to these. These are how you'll tell me how you'll use it. So that's about it. Have a good one, everyone.